So I'm Antoinette Santiago. I'm going to talk about my first experience outside of the country, which was last year. I grew up a Navy brat, but it was my first time outside of the U.S., and I went to Costa Rica and Nicaragua with my sister. She was actually living there with her fiancé at the time, so it was nice to see what else is out there. The first week, we went and checked out like the hot springs and the national parks, and it was really beautiful out there, just breathtaking, green everywhere, and the beaches are nice and white, and the water is nice and blue. So the first thing I thought about driving through Costa Rica was Jurassic Park, and there's like actual signs like of dinosaurs, and I couldn't really put two and two together until I watched Jurassic Park in 3D the other month, and it was actually set there, so that was cool. So the beaches, my favorite beach in Costa Rica was Conchal Beach. It was a small beach that you have to drive over another beach just to get to it, and you have to rough terrain, and we were in a small rental, a compact car, and we got stuck in the sand, and it was just me and my sister and my aunt, and we didn't know what to do, and there's no cars coming by for like half an hour, and then half an hour later, these like 5 guys, shirtless guys, come and horseback riding, and like they come over, and we're like, okay, so they like tied the horses to the car, and they pull us out of the sand, and it was just really surreal, and it was like a movie, and they're like, oh yeah, so you should head on to Conchal Beach, and like, so we hung out with them and their family. I guess a lot of locals, they go down to the beaches to sell stuff, like coconuts, fresh coconuts, and that was my favorite part, because I like coconuts. And so the culture in general is really awesome. Like, everyone's friendly. When you go to restaurants, there's no tip culture, so it was funny figuring that out at first, like paying tip, but they don't really accept that there. My favorite part was the dogs over there. There's a lot of stray dogs, and they're all really friendly. There's a lot of beach dogs, and I would bring dog food to the to the beaches and feed them, so that was really cool. Yeah, it was a really fun experience, and so for this summer, I actually went across the U.S. Right after BECA Fest. Drove down to North Carolina. My cousin just got stationed at Fort Bragg, so it took us 3 days to drive across. It was my first time experiencing the South, and it was really nice. Like, Southern hospitality really exists, so it was cool experiencing that. And for this summer, after summer session, I have planned is me and my best friend, we're going to go around the U.S. via Amtrak, and we're going to hit up 12 different cities, and we're just going to like try to make a little webisode show, I guess, out of like our experiences around meeting new people. We're going to couch surf, so that should be interesting. We're going to go to Seattle, Montana, Chicago, Boston, New York, Washington, D.C., Virginia, and then we're going to visit my cousin again in North Carolina. We're going to go down to New Orleans, and then Texas, then hit up the Grand Canyon, and then back here. And then I'll start school the following day, I think. So it should be interesting, and yeah, so traveling is really awesome. I'd like to travel more.
How much is it going to cost to go on Amtrak all around everywhere?
So there's this deal on Amtrak where you could stop at 12 different places for about $670. But the tough part about it is the rides are going to be really brutal. I think one of the rides that we're going to have from like Montana to Chicago will be about 30 hours. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to rough it out a little bit, but we're planning on doing a lot of editing on board, like just creating stuff, and maybe I'm going to bring my guitar, so kill some time with that. Any other questions?
When you drove to South Carolina, did you drive on the 50?
We drove on the 40 and then the Route 66 for a bit. So it was really cool, and we saw the southern, we got off, actually, so right before the big tornado in Oklahoma, we were there just an hour before it hit, so we were driving through Alabama, and we're like...
So how do you like Fort Bragg?
It was really big. It was the biggest post I've ever been on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and everyone was airborne.
Right.
So, yeah, special forces.
Special forces.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
You're good.
All right, thanks.